Now we've cast on 25 stitches. First, knit 2 rows even. On the first row, knit on the right side. Insert the hook from this position. End of the first row. On the second row, purl 25 stitches on the wrong side. On the third row, we'll increase 4 stitches at the starting position. The increase method is as follows. For the first stitch, slip it first. Then place the right needle on top. Loop this stitch over from the top of the left needle. Loop the stitch onto the left needle. Then place the right needle underneath. Pick it up like this. Each pick counts as 1 increase stitch. Now the second stitch. Wrap down and bring it over. Second stitch. Continue. Third stitch. Fourth stitch. Then place this stitch on the right needle. We knit directly. Note, when you reach 3 stitches away from the center stitch, start the pattern. Left leaning decrease of 2 stitches into 1. Skip stitch. Continue knitting the rest. Finished the third row. Fourth row. At the starting position on the wrong side, we also need to increase 4 stitches. The method of increasing is the same as before. But here we first pick up the loop from bottom to top. Then place the right needle on top. Same method. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first stitch is still not worked, bring the yarn forward. Since we are on the wrong side here, we purl. Finish this row. Continue increasing on both sides up to row 12, following this method. Refer to the chart for the number of increases, and work the pattern where indicated. Now we'll place stitch markers in a few spots. Here is the starting point placed at the center stitch. These 2 positions mark the beginning with 25 stitches. This spot marks the edge stitch after completing 12 rows. Similarly, place a stitch marker on the edge stitch here. For the next section, increase 1 stitch every 2 rows, working increases on the right side. Row 13. Start with 1 edge stitch. Continue knitting the next stitch. Then into this loop. The stitch we just completed. Pick up the loop below it. Knit 1 stitch into it, and we've increased 1 stitch. This is called a left increase. Continue knitting downward. When 2 stitches remain at the edge, we'll do a right increase. the loop below the second to last stitch, the loop below here. Pick it up. Into this loop, we do a right increase. Then continue knitting it to the end. In this row, we added 1 stitch at both the second stitch and the second to last stitch position. Rows 13 through 38, follow this method. On the right side rows, increase to the right of the second stitch, and to the left of the second to last stitch. Here I've completed row 38. We have added stitches on both sides. The first stitch on the edge. At this position. And the last stitch. At this position here. Place a stitch marker. Convenient for sewing later. For rows 39 through 44. We increase stitches on both sides following the method from rows 2 to 12. Refer to the chart for the specific number of stitches to increase. At the end of row 44, we still add stitch markers at the beginning and ending. Up to this point, the increases for the sleeve cap section are all complete. Next, we'll explain the decrease part for the sleeves. The decrease pattern is to decrease 1 stitch every 8 rows on both sides of the piece. First, knit 6 rows even. How to confirm how many rows we've knitted so far? We find the position of the stitch marker. The stitch corresponding to where the stitch marker is placed. This row is the last row of the previous section. Count upwards from this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so here are 6 stitches. That means we've knitted 6 rows so far. 7th row. First, knit 1 edge stitch. Then for the second and third stitches, we'll knit a left-leaning decrease, SSK. Decrease 1 stitch. Continue knitting down. When there are 3 stitches remaining. For the second to last and third to last stitches, we'll knit a right-leaning decrease, K2 tog. Decrease 1 stitch, then knit 1 edge stitch. 8th row, no decreases on the wrong side. Knit all purl stitches. End of the 8th row. We're at the edge stitches. Place stitch markers. This is one position. And this position. The decreasing section afterward follows this pattern. Place stitch markers at the edge stitches every time an 8-row section concludes. This makes it convenient for sewing later and helps confirm how many times we've decreased. Complete this section on your own according to the chart. Next, we'll work on the cuff with single rib stitch. Switch to 3.25 mm needles here. In the first row, we'll decrease 10 stitches, knit all stitches in this row. First, knit 3 stitches. Then, double crochet 2 together. This decreases 1 stitch. Knit 5 more stitches. Double crochet 2 together. Afterward, knit 5 stitches, then double crochet 2 together repeatedly. End this row. Finish the first row, start the second row. On the second row, begin working single rib stitch. Purl the first stitch. Then knit. Continue working single rib for all following stitches. Follow the chart for 12 rows. Next, we'll bind off the single rib section. Knit the first stitch. Second stitch. It was originally purled. Knit 1 stitch. Then, pick up and bind off 1 stitch. Third stitch, which was originally a knit stitch. Insert the hook into the stitch from underneath the yarn. Purl 1 stitch. Then bind it off. Remember not to pull too tight when binding off, otherwise the edge won't have elasticity. Next stitch, which is a purl stitch. Insert the hook into the stitch from above the yarn. Knit. Bind off. This is a knit stitch. We need to purl this stitch. Then bind off. Continue this method until the end of the row. The first and last stitches are edge stitches. Just knit them normally. Here, the binding off is completed. Note: do not cut the yarn here. Thread it through. Do not cut the yarn, we will use the crochet hook to sew the sleeves later. Now the entire sleeve section is completed. Next, we need to sew the sleeves together. First, turn to the wrong side. Use a 2.5 mm crochet hook. Match up the corresponding stitches on both sides. Check the shape of the stitches here. One stitch is slightly longer, the next is slightly shorter, same on both sides. This stitch is slightly longer. The stitch next to it is slightly shorter. The slightly longer stitch on this side corresponds to the slightly shorter stitch on the other side. Following this pattern, let's sew them together. If you're unsure where the first stitch is, we can count forward from the previous stitch marker. First, pick up a stitch next to this stitch marker position. Bring the yarn over here first. This stitch marker spot is the first stitch. Pick up this one. Then pick up the stitch at the stitch marker position on this side. Use the slip stitch method with the crochet hook. Then pick up this slightly longer stitch, corresponding to the slightly shorter stitch on this side. Pick up and slip stitch. Don't pull the yarn too tight. Next, the slightly shorter stitch on this side corresponds to the slightly longer stitch on that side. Slip stitch. Keep doing this. Up to this point at the stitch marker position. Let's check if the stitches on both sides are aligned. Then the stitch marker can be removed. Continue downward, making sure to match the stitches correctly. Follow this method. Keep sewing until the end. Now we're at the last few stitches. We still don't cut the yarn. Pull it through. Next, we need to sew the sleeves to the front and back bodies of the garment. First, turn the garment to the wrong side. Align and secure the edges of the armholes on the front and back bodies with the sleeve edges. First, find the middle position, where we placed the stitch marker. This is where the front and back bodies are sewn together. These two positions need to correspond. Then let's check again. This is the starting 25 stitches of the sleeve, which should correspond to about 36 rows on the front and back bodies. Let's count here. This is the 36th row position. This position also needs to match. We can use these small clips to secure it. This makes it easier for us to sew later. Secure it in place. We can add one here too. Then this is the bottom position. These two positions also need to correspond. Secure them well. Then we can secure it every few sections. Both sides are secured. We can also do the middle. Probably secure this area as well. We need to start from this position. Starting from the bottom of the front and back bodies. Sew them together using the crochet hook. This is also where we previously bound off 7 stitches. Just match them up roughly. Remember not to pull too tight when crocheting. Also, when sewing, we normally pick up 1 stitch on the edge. Don't pick up too many inside. Otherwise the front side won't look flat when finished. Up to this point, we've sewn half the way. The second half. Same method. We'll find a few points to secure them first. Like this position. Secure it. First, secure the bottom. Secure here, near the bottom position. This one can be removed first. Pick a middle position. Secure it. Then continue to join them together with the crochet hook. Still, only pick the edge stitch. Up to the bottom, we've completed the entire round of sewing. Finally here, we need to fasten off the yarn. Note, starting from the sleeve cast on, until the entire sleeve is sewn together with the front and back bodies. We don't need to cut the yarn. Finally, we'll treat the yarn tails. Let's flip it to the right side to check the sewing. It looks like this. For the other side, we'll use the same method. To sew the other sleeve to the armhole. Next, we'll explain how to knit the front bands. Use 3.25 mm needles to knit the left front band first. The picking up method is to pick up 4 stitches for every 5 rows. Find the corresponding first row stitches on both sides. Ensure the number of stitches picked up on both front bands is the same. We need to start a new yarn. Here's where I mark the first stitch position. First stitch, pick up the 2 strands at the edge stitch position here. Second stitch. Then, here. Third stitch. Next stitch, fourth stitch. Fifth stitch, skip this stitch, move to the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4. After picking up 4 stitches, skip the next stitch. Then move to the next stitch, continue picking up 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep picking up until the bottom edge ends. Okay, the picking up for this row is finished. Start knitting single rib from the second row. Correspond to the row numbers in the chart. Finish knitting it. Finally, bind off on the right side row using the previous finishing method. For the last row of the left front band, use the same finishing method as before. First knit 1 knit stitch. Then for the second knit stitch here, we purl. Knit 1 more stitch. Purl. Continue binding off until the end. After finishing the left front band, cut the yarn. Next, we'll pick up the right front band. The method and stitch count are the same. The difference is, we pick up the right front band from the bottom edge toward the neckline. Take a new yarn and start picking up the right front band. Count the picked up row as the first row on the right side, knit 6 rows first. On the 7th row of the right front band, we'll leave a buttonhole. I've already placed the stitch markers here. The first and second stitch markers are placed closer together. This will make it lie flat and fit better when buttoned. The first stitch here is a purl stitch. This stitch marker is positioned at the third purl stitch. The second stitch marker is 6 purl stitches away from this marker. The third stitch marker is 16 purl stitches away from the second marker. The distance here is the same, also 16 purl stitches back. The last one is the same as well. We'll leave a total of 5 buttonholes. Let's knit this row. Row 7, first stitch is a purl. Knit stitch. Continue to the stitch marker position. We'll skip this stitch. We added a stitch here, so we'll knit 2 together left, decreasing 1 stitch. Knit these 2 stitches together. This skipped stitch we just made will form a buttonhole later. Continue knitting. We've reached the stitch marker position again. Same method, skip and add 1 stitch. Then knit these 2 stitches together left. Follow this method to finish this row. Buttonholes on the right side are always at a purl position. So on the wrong side they'll be at a knit position. When you encounter a buttonhole here, we'll knit the stitch. This stitch is a knit. Same for the rest. Then follow the chart to reach the required row count. Finally finish off on the right side using the same method. Both front bands are completed, don't break the yarn here. Check the buttonholes we left. This position here. It's quite invisible. Next, we'll work a round of single crochets around the neckline with a crochet hook. Work 9 single crochets on the front band. This is the first stitch. We'll place a stitch marker to help count stitches later. Work 9 single crochets. 2, 3, skip 1 stitch, 4, 5, 6, skip 1 stitch. 7, 8, 9. Starting here, we originally decreased 6 stitches on this side. So we need to work 6 single crochets here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then for the neckline decrease, where 3 stitches were decreased, we'll work 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Then there were 2 decreases, each time decreasing 2 stitches. Work 2 single crochets here. Work 2 single crochets here as well. Next is 2, 1, 3. The decrease position is here. We work 2 single crochets at this position. Work 2 single crochets here for the second time as well. Work 2 single crochets at the third decrease position as well. At this position, decrease 1 stitch over 4 rows. And in these 4 rows, we work 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Next is the position for 8 plain rows. In these 8 rows, we work 6 single crochets. Work 7 single crochets at the back body collar decrease position. Work 35 single crochets at the 35 skipped stitches. Work single crochets at the left front neckline and right front neckline using the same method. According to the collar chart, work 3 chain stitches in the first stitch. Work 1 double crochet in the second stitch. Then a chain stitch. Count forward 3 stitches to this stitch. Work 1 double crochet. 2 chain stitches. And another double crochet in the same stitch. Then 1 chain stitch. Count forward 3 stitches, work 1 double crochet in the third stitch. One chain stitch. Repeat, work 1 double crochet in the third stitch. Two chain stitches, and another double crochet in the same stitch. Complete this row according to the pattern chart. Check, there are 2 double crochets here. The last double crochet serves as the edge stitch. The first row is completed. Let's count back. We've worked 17 pattern repeats. Check the row we just completed. The right side of the garment looks like this. This collar will be turned over later. So this row is the right side row of the collar. We'll consider this row as the first row. Now we're going to work the second row. The second row is the wrong side row of the collar. Let's check the chart for the second row. Each pattern repeat consists of 1 front post double crochet and 1 chain stitch. Then work 1 single crochet followed by 5 chain stitches in the 2 single crochets from the previous row. After finishing the single crochet, add 1 more chain stitch. First, the position of the first stitch. Chain 3. Next, turn your work, this is the wrong side of the collar. For this front post double crochet, we'll work it from this position on the wrong side. Then 1 chain stitch. Work 1 single crochet followed by 5 chain stitches in the 2 chain stitches from the previous row. Another single crochet. 1 chain stitch. Then at the double crochet position. Since we're working on the wrong side, this stitch should be worked as a back post double crochet. If it were on the right side, it would be a front post double crochet. Next, work it like this, continue with 1 chain stitch. Then repeat the previous pattern, 1 single crochet, 5 chain stitches. 1 single crochet. Follow the chart to complete this row on the wrong side. Third row of the collar. The pattern unit for this row is 1 front post double crochet, then work 4 double crochets into the 5 chain stitches from the previous row, separated by 2 chain stitches each. First, as usual, work 3 double crochets at the beginning position. Then, start here. Since this is a right side row, we work front post double crochets directly. Next, into the 5 chain stitches from the previous row. We work 1 double crochet, 2 chains, another double crochet, 2 chains, third double crochet, 2 chains, fourth double crochet. Work a double crochet with 2 chains in between, and here. Then work a front post double crochet here. Refer to the chart, continue crocheting downward. For the fourth row, let's work this row. Starting position, 3 chains. Since this is the wrong side row, we work the front post double crochet in reverse. Next, on the first 2 chains, 1 single crochet, 3 chains, 1 single crochet. On the second, work a single crochet on 2 chains, 5 chains, 1 single crochet. On the third, work a single crochet on 2 chains, 3 chains, 1 single crochet. Repeat the following pattern, all stitches used are the same. We refer to the chart and crochet until the second to last row. Now I've completed the crocheting of the second to last row of the collar section. For the last row, we'll use 5mm pearls. and a thinner crochet hook to thread the beads. This is where the second to last row ends. According to the chart, first work a chain stitch. Then work 3 single crochets on the double crochet here. Then work 2 single crochets here. Work 3 single crochets on this side below. Then follow the pattern, 2 single crochets, 3 single crochets. Crochet following this pattern until the last row. Then next, work 3 chain stitches. Turn your work. This is the first single crochet we worked earlier. Work a single crochet on the third single crochet, then 3 chain stitches. Skip 1 stitch, work a single crochet on the next single crochet below, and complete all the way here. At this corner, we've worked a total of 11 groups of 1 single crochet, and 3 chain stitches. Next, still work 3 chain stitches. Then the next single crochet should be worked on the last double crochet of the previous row. We work it here. Then still work 3 chain stitches, and this single crochet goes between the 2 front loop double crochets. Then again 3 chain stitches. A single crochet worked on the 2 chain stitches from the previous row. Then at this position, follow the same crochet method as before. Work a single crochet on 2 chain stitches first, then 3 chain stitches and 1 single crochet. At the middle position, we previously worked 1 single crochet, then 5 chain stitches plus 1 single crochet. Here, for 5 chain stitches, we work 2 first. Then we need to thread a bead here. Take a thinner crochet hook. Thread it through this. This bead counts as 1 chain stitch. Continue, work 2 more chain stitches. It's equivalent to the previous 5 chain stitches. Then work a single crochet. Following the pattern chart, here is 1 single crochet, 2 chain stitches, 1 single crochet, then continue with a single crochet on the 2 chain stitches here. 3 chain stitches. This single crochet is worked between 2 front loop double crochets. Then still 3 chain stitches, 1 single crochet worked on the 2 chain stitches from the previous row. Repeat the same crochet method here. Keep repeating until the last motif on this side. Now the 17 fan patterns have been completed. We've reached the corner on the other side. The edge crochet method here is the same as before. On these 3 chain stitches, we work 3 single crochets. Next, we work 2 single crochets here. Here are 3 single crochets to complete this row. On these last 3 chain stitches, we work 3 single crochets. Then we work a combination of 3 chain stitches, and 1 single crochet on this row of single crochets. First work 3 chain stitches. Work a single crochet on the 3rd single crochet. Continue with 3 chain stitches, skip 1 stitch, work a single crochet on the next single crochet, 3 chain stitches. Repeat the same crochet method until you reach the edge. The last group, 3 chain stitches. 1 single crochet. Here we fasten off the yarn, and the entire collar is complete. Cut the yarn. Then take a look. This is the right side. We need to hide the yarn tail on this side, on the wrong side. Treat the yarn tail. Then we'll also take care of the other yarn tails on the wrong side. Weave in the ends. Then we flip it to the right side to see the effect after finishing the collar. Finally, we need to sew a button on the left front band. Find the position that corresponds to the buttonhole on the right front band. This position. Roughly in the middle of this front band. Secure it in place. Do the same for the others, and the entire garment's crochet is complete.